The Samsung Galaxy Book 6 Ultra with this exact same chip costs $2,400. The Dell XPS 16 $2,050, but this one costs $1,800. And look, it's not perfect. Acer made some cuts to get here, but I think they made the right ones because this is the Acer Swift 16 AI, and by the end of this video, you'll know exactly who should buy it and who should probably skip it. Now, before I get into performance, which is really the story here, let me give you the quick rundown on what this thing actually is. It's a 16-inch laptop, has an all-aluminum chassis, weighs about 3.42 pounds, which is pretty light for a 16-inch notebook. The lid opens up with one hand and it goes flat 180 degrees, and the hinges are actually solid, which hasn't always been the case with Acer laptops. The build quality overall is in line with the better laptops that are on the market right now. For ports, you get a full-size HDMI, you get a USB-A 3.2 Gen 2 on the left, 2 Thunderbolt 4 ports, and then on the right, you have your combo audio jack, another USB-A 3.2 Gen 2 port, and a micro SD card slot. There's no Ethernet, and there's no full-size SD. But at this thickness, Ethernet was never happening. The card slot is appreciated. One thing I do need to address, the sticker situation. Like, whoever placed these stickers on here, like the sticker guy was having a very good night. Like, he got drunk and decided to put an HDMI sticker. Like, I don't think anyone has ever needed to be reminded what HDMI is. Like, it's 2026 already. But we got to talk about why this laptop is actually interesting, because it is using the newer Panther Lake Core Ultra X7 358H, which is Intel's first ever chiplet laptop processor. But here's the thing that really matters, and this is what a lot of reviews are glossing over. There are two tiers of Panther Lake floating around right now. The standard Core Ultra 7 355, which is what's inside the Samsung Galaxy Book 6 base model. And it gets the basic integrated graphics. Like, it's terrible. It reminds me of Meteor Lake. The X7 358H in this laptop gets the Arc B390. Same processor family, completely different GPU tiers. And when you see the benchmark numbers, that distinction becomes very obvious very quickly. And I bring this up because some of you guys are gonna be like, oh, it has a Series 3 processor. It's a 355, I'm gonna go buy it. GPU performance is gonna be good, but it's not if you buy that specific processor. It has to have an X in front of it if you want that best performance. But this is where things get interesting. 3D Mark TimeSpy, the standard GPU benchmark, the Acer scores 7,005. Now, the Samsung Galaxy Book 6, which runs a standard Core Ultra 7 355, same Panther Lake family, different SKU, scores 3210. Now, in terms of Steel Nomad, it's a more demanding GPU benchmark. The Acer scores 1455, the ASUS ProArt leads at 2038, Samsung Galaxy Book is at 547, and the MacBook Air 15M5, 1057. When it came to Mozilla Firefox rendering, the Acer comes in at 36 minutes, which is in the middle. The MacBook Air M5 wins at 14 minutes, and the ProArt with the Ryzen Max Plus at 19. When it comes to Blender, MacBook Air leads, ProArt comes in second, and Acer in third. That's 51% ahead of Lenovo and 126% ahead of the Galaxy Book 6. Good results for a thin and light. Now, when it comes to actual Photoshop work, Acer scores 8,225. The Galaxy Book is just a little bit lower by about 11%, but obviously the MacBook Air M5 leads at number 1. And look, this is Photoshop. All these laptops are going to run Photoshop just fine, but if you want the fastest performance, the MacBook Air takes the number 1 spot. Premiere Pro, and I'll be straight up with you on this one, the MacBook Air M5 scores the highest. Like, it got double the score what this Acer can do. That's 77% faster on the Mac. And look, Apple's media engine is doing the real work here. If video editing is your primary workflow, that gap matters. The Galaxy Book 6 couldn't even complete the test. When it comes to speedometer, a test that tests modern browser applications, Acer leads all Windows laptops at 38, ahead of the Galaxy Book 6 at 36. But the MacBook Air is the fastest at 52. And look, let's talk about what these numbers actually mean when it comes to gaming performance, because I know a lot of people out there want a thin and light laptop that can also game. And we're not talking about solitaire, okay? We're talking about games that can be run at 1920 by 1200 medium to high settings, depending on the title. The Arc B390 can handle them. Intel claims it's on par with an RTX 4050, and in practice, the results back that up more than you'd expect. Overwatch, a very well optimized game that can run on older integrated graphics, runs beautifully on this, on high settings, without having to use any sort of frame generation. Marvel Rivals, which is more graphically demanding, handles it well without any frame generation. Cyberpunk 2077 is playable without frame generation as long as you're okay being just under 60 FPS at those settings. Now, Black Myth Wukong, you will definitely need to keep frame generation on. It's a very demanding game and even gives dedicated GPUs a run for their money. What's not attractive though is the speakers inside of this thing. Like, they're terrible. There's only 2 of them. They're bottom firing. I don't get Acer. It's like speakers were never a serious matter for them, and they continue to put bad speakers on their laptop. But when it comes to battery life, there's a 70-watt-hour battery inside this thing. And in my PC Mark Modern Office test, which simulates real mixed productivity use, I got 15 hours and 21 minutes. Is it the best result I got on a Panther Lake laptop? No, but it's still very respectable. And one thing I noticed about Panther Lake is that it's so good at efficiency. Like, you can close the lid, walk away, not come back to your laptop, dropping 30%. Now, I gotta talk about what it's like living with this laptop on a daily basis. The keyboard is a bit of a mixed bag. Like, the actuation is good. It's not too soft, decent travel. And some of you will love that it comes with a numpad. But the key spacing feels a touch too wide for my liking. Like, listen, I make more typing mistakes on this than I do on most other laptops I test. Something like a Lenovo ThinkPad, a MacBook, or most ASUS laptops just feel tighter and more accurate to type on. Also, the middle of the chassis has a little bit of flex when you press down on it. It gives slightly more than I'd like. It's not a deal breaker, but it's definitely noticeable. The touchpad though, I like it. Like, it's good and quite frankly, almost great. It's massive, it's haptic, and it doubles down as a drawing surface. Like, if you use a Wacom tablet for sketching, this is generally worth trying out. You might like it. Personally, I do feel a bit disconnected drawing on it versus drawing directly on the screen. Now, I do have one tip. I did find the haptic touchpad to feel a bit too mechanical because of its settings, but if you go into the settings for the haptic touchpad, change the click sensitivity to light and the haptic click intensity to about 3, and I guarantee it will feel a lot better to use. Now, we got to talk about this display. It has a 2880 by 1800 OLED panel. It's 120 Hz, 16 by 10 touch enabled, has a fantastic color gamut. It has True Black 500 certified. It looks great, but this is one of the cuts Acer made to hit the price. It's not a tandem OLED, and it's not an OLED that has a peak brightness that goes over 1000 nits. It's lower than some of the competition that's slightly priced higher than this. But I'm kind of glad they went with this because you're still getting a generally good OLED. It's just not the brightest one money can buy at this price point. Now, there is one thing to note. Color accuracy does shift slightly with brightness level. At 100% brightness, you're close to a delta E average of 2. As you come down in brightness, accuracy improves, gets below 1 at lower settings, like around 50%, and drops even more the closer you get to, let's say, 20%. Either way, below 2 means your eyes won't perceive a difference. It's a great display for most people, but if you want it to be the most color accurate as possible, definitely turn down the brightness. Webcam is 1080p with a physical privacy shutter. Here's a little test so you can see for yourself. Okay, so this is what the 1080p webcam looks like on the Acer Swift 16. So it is a little dark right now in my kitchen studio. It's raining outside, so not the best natural light, and I do have the artificial lights on. So this will give you like a general normal person's home kind of scenario. So you guys let me know how it looks, let me know how the colors are, and yeah, let me know how the microphones sound. I do want to talk about the software for 1 second. Yes, it's using Windows 11, and I'll probably get a comment about, oh, just install Linux. And look, if you can make Linux work, good on you, but it's a very enthusiast thing to do. Most people are just not going to do that. On top of that, even if you do install Linux, you could have so many driver issues, so many software problems, or applications just not being compatible. It's just not a solution at all. We got to live with Windows. It has the most support right now, so it is what it is. But the one thing I truly didn't like are the amount of ads installed on this machine. This is a premium product. When I unbox this product, I want it to feel premium. When I load up the computer and I see this garbage, crappy game pop up on the right side of the screen, I'm turned off. When I start looking in the menus of all the software that's installed and I see VPNs and booking apps and other garbage games that I've never heard of, it's a turnoff on a product that's supposed to feel premium. I understand you get a kickback, Acer, for installing these apps, but honestly, like if I'm paying this kind of money, I don't want to see it. All right, bottom lid, full aluminum. There's actually icons for all the ports. Not a big deal most of the time since the laptop is flat on the table and you're just not going to see them. But if you mount your laptop vertically in a desk setup, might come in handy to see the ports a bit better. But inside, not a lot of things are upgradable as expected. I would have loved to see a second drive slot. Like, it's just one over here. There is the space for it, and this is a 16-inch laptop. There should be a second drive slot. Either way, read and write speeds are pretty good. Also, again, wasted space over here. The battery could have been bigger. Battery life's pretty good, but since this is a 16-inch chassis, why not make it even better? Wi-Fi card is soldered onto the motherboard, but it is Wi-Fi 7. All right, so here's the bottom line. The Acer Swift 16AI is obviously not perfect. The speakers are not that great. The keyboard has slightly too much key spacing and flex on the deck. And the display, while it's excellent, isn't the peak brightness monster or tandem OLED you'd get from other competing laptops at this price. But at $1799, with 32 gigabytes of RAM, 1 terabyte of storage, and an OLED touch display, plus the ability to write and draw on the touchpad, it's a better choice for the money than a lot of other laptops that are currently being offered right now in that price range. Like, if you're a creator first and you live in the Mac ecosystem, the MacBook Air M5 is still a better call at basically the same price. But if you want a machine that handles productivity, handles creative work at a solid level, lasts all day, and can actually run your games, this is the most competitively priced Panther Lake X7 laptop that I've reviewed so far. And look, I hope we see more coming down in price because of this guy. Either way, if you're interested in checking it out, I'll place a link in the description down below. If you found this useful, hit the like button. If you're new to the channel, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.